So, hello everybody, welcome back to Law Hero. My name is Jen and my head is cut off. You see me? Do you see me now? Hopefully that is stable. So today we're going to talk about a subject that I really am interested in, and I'm very excited to do this because it's the first time I talk about this on my channel, but it's a concept of flexible lawyers, flexible services, kind of freelancing as lawyers. And a lot of the time when you think about solicitors, you think of like a load of solicitors employed in a law firm, or a sole practitioner working away on their own, or somebody. So yeah, flexibility is becoming a new thing, especially after COVID, where a lot of people kind of realised they didn't want to work anymore full-time, and that kind of, you know, pyramid, not the Illuminati, but the pyramid that is a law firm, whereby the people at the bottom do all the work and the people at the top, I won't say they don't do all the work, they just do a lot of business generation and they get all the profits. So a lot of people are like, no, I'm kind of good. I don't want to be on that trajectory. I want to be flexible. I want to have kids. I want to, you know, be a family person. I want a bit more flexibility in my legal career. So that is what has happened in the market. This is a response to the market changing, and COVID was the catalyst. So if you look around flexible kind of, I'm going to take the example of William Fry. So they've come up with People Bridge, and you know, so bridging the gap to people they wouldn't normally have employed. So they call it matching the right lawyer and tax advisor with the right client every time. And if you look at People Bridge, so it gives candidates and clients confidence that our people are backed by the expertise of a leading law firm. So you sign up as a lawyer to People Bridge and as a tax advisor. So they're bringing lawyers and tax advisors together. And what they do is, so you would imagine, so usually if you're like a corporate actor, what you're looking for is a lawyer and a tax advisor. They're the two things you really need to do anything in this sphere. So what William Fry are doing is, rather than using their own people, they're going to use like a panel of people. So a panel of lawyers and a panel of tax advisors who are obviously adept at corporate work and will work on those ad hoc transactions, which will not only reduce costs because it's not their employee, it's kind of like a contract for services. Same with the tax advisor. You don't need them on retainer the whole time. You can just pay them for that specific transaction. And what that'll do for William Fry is it'll expose them to new clients. It'll reduce their costs, because always like wages is the highest cost for a law firm, indeed any business, and they will be able to leverage the skill without directly employing these people. So it's a very, very good idea. So that's People Bridge. And now the other one they have set up is William Fry Connect, which they call a new way for experienced senior lawyers and tax advisors with proven revenue generating skills to work with autonomy and flexibility, yet with the support of a top tier firm. They will have the title of consultant and independent contractor with the firm, consumerate with the control they will have over the work they decide to do and from whom. Now, as an average punter here, I'm wondering what's the difference between William Fry Connect and People Bridge. Okay, so whereas William Fry Connect is you have to have at least 7 years at a leading Irish international legal or tax practice and the ability to generate business and looking to work more flexibly. This will appeal to senior lawyers and tax advisors wanting to step back from full-time partnership, wishing to generate an income from their client relationships, travel and work flexibly, and people with caring responsibilities. Okay, that's the difference. Consultants are sole traders. They set their own terms and their own fees. And interestingly enough, William Fry will cover your professional indemnity. So it's like you're operating as a sole trader, but you're getting the benefit of the law firm. Problem is, not many law firms out there are doing what William Fry are doing, so your scope of client is limited. But I would imagine that other law firms may follow suit if this works out for William Fry. So this People Bridge is focused on recruiting outside the firm, and it's for lawyers who may not want a full-time permanent role and want to dip in and dip out. There's a demand from this on the client side and the lawyer side. So this idea has come from the UK, where it's very common, whereas over here it's not as common. So I suppose the question is, how does this affect us as young lawyers? Well, I suppose what it does mean is that, so I'm going to give you my experience of these kind of flexible working arrangements. So I've been exposed to like some of Saki. Shh. I've been exposed to some people who do these, so they're called like legal consultants, and they're like people who, like it just said in the article, dip in and dip out of different clients, usually in-house roles. You wouldn't really see them dipping in and dipping out of big law firms. So from that perspective, it is different that a law firm is taking on this mode of work. The upside is that you can charge well for what you're doing. Is for these people that once they have completed their mandate, they don't have continuing employment. So it's a bit like a barrister. They have to keep touting for work the whole time. And it's not like they're a solicitor on the street where clients just come into you and they need their will updated, or they need to sell a house or buy a house or whatever. So I at the time of my, like, right now, I wouldn't particularly like it myself, because number one, I'm not experienced enough. Number two, there's too much of a risk that my consultancy wouldn't be taken up. So I really think this is for people who are super experienced, kind of like they said, like the 7 years plus. That being said, there are some websites in the UK where you can like draft like services agreement, employment contract, albeit it's not really popular over here, but I think it's definitely going to go, because like in the US you have like Rocket Lawyer, and you've all these websites whereby you can go on, you can get a draft document and you can get a lawyer to review it online, and that is extremely flexible, and that's what clients really want. The problem is in Ireland we don't really have that culture. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, if William Fry is the mover here, the issue is really cover. It's all around negligence, because if you go out on your own, you're exposed from a negligence point of view, in that if you need to have professional indemnity cover and a practicing cert, otherwise you can't advise as a solicitor. So what I'm thinking is, if you were some kind of a conglomerate whereby like Flex Legal or one of these in the UK, whereby you could cover the cost of solicitors, not even cover the cost, even contribute towards the cost of professional, and you could try and get some bulk insurance for your solicitors, and then contribute to the practice and cert in proportion to how much that solicitor is working for you and whatever commission they're getting. That would be a way to get around it. It's just that in Ireland we don't really have that culture just yet. I am interested to see with the EY Legal, because I think, because now that these accountancy firms or alternative legal services provider, now that they're starting to move into the market, it'll be interesting to see how they cover it, because they have a massive access to big clients. So if they're avoiding the big law firms and having their own people internally, that might be another way where this kind of flexible or alternative legal structure might pop up. I think the moral of the story is that the market is moving towards a more client focused, like the shift has moved from lawyers being on a pedestal to it's more, and I think it's because the majority now of clients have in-house counsel who know the system well and are not ignorant about the law. So the in-house counsel can bring you to a certain level, and then you have to go usually external for very niche advice. And the problem is in-house legal budgets are usually very low, because they want to keep the spend low, and that means that the demand for services means that the cost has to be reduced, which means that law firms have to get more creative in how they are structuring their products. So it's like anything, the market will dictate what happens. How it's important for you is you need to understand where the legal services market is going. Like, there's no point getting into legal services, especially on corporate level. I'm not talking about general practices. They have their own battles, and I'm not in tune with that because I'm not in general practice, but I'm in corporate law. I understand what's going on in our Irish legal marketplace. It's very much becoming more client-centered, and I see this myself as a client because now I am a client and now I'm tendering for legal services. So I know what it's like to sit there and go, that doesn't suit us, that suits us, that's flexible, that's value for money, that's value added services. I think the other big reason as well, and Richard Susskind always alludes to this, is that clients are now more sophisticated, they're more cost adverse. They also have very little patience, in that clients know that law firms took advantage of their dominance for many, many years and are now not willing to tolerate long lead-in times, high fees, kind of, at partner level. They're not really, they will dispute a bill is what I'm trying to say. Whereas in the good old days, that stuff was kind of overlooked and it was like, okay, the legal bill is the legal bill, we just have to accept it. I think people now are far more savvy when it comes to legal services. So yeah, I think flexibility is definitely here to stay. I think law firms will move eventually towards a model where everybody in the law firm will be flexible, and I'd say what will happen is as well is in order to generate more income, they will put business development on everybody, as in like from very low levels, as in like from junior associate, and they will also try and broaden people's practice areas as much as they can to catch as much business as they can. I think that's what's going to happen, because the backdrop to all of this is technology is replacing people. It's a sad thing to say, but it is. We saw during COVID, a lot of legal secretaries were let go, a lot of hours were reduced, and I predict that the same is going to happen to lawyers, and we would be ignorant and we would be negligent if we thought that the same fate isn't going to come to us. That is why it is imperative that you understand the market you're working in, understand the legal innovation, understand the players, supply and demand, and also understand your role in the ecosystem, and also your worth and your marketability. And yeah, that's what I think. And that in itself is you being flexible, which is the ultimate characteristic one needs in these ever-changing times. Law is going through extreme change at the moment. It doesn't seem like it. It's like wings on a fly. You can't really see the change happening, but it is definitely happening, and COVID was the catalyst. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you very much for listening. I'll see you in the next one, and thank you to everybody who suggested these topics.